Hello friends and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Estelle and I make videos about crochet, sewing and other crafts. I love hearing the behind the scenes of other people's lives, especially creative people. So I thought it might be nice to show you what a regular week looks like for me now that this is finally and officially my job. I don't really consider myself as a content creator as it falls short. I prefer the term full-time creative. I first read about this concept in one of Kelsey Rodriguez's newsletters and it immediately clicked for me. I finally gave a name to what I do and how I move through my work. I've only recently committed to self-employment. Before this, I did many things. I was a waitress, I worked in communications and marketing for several companies, and I also worked part-time at a non-profit organization. This isn't a story about suddenly quitting my job to do this, it was a long, slow path to get here. In this video, I want to share the whole journey, how I make a living, how I make my videos, and what this life actually looks like. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel or a creative side hustle, maybe this will be helpful, but remember, I'm also just learning as I go. Everything really started almost 5 years ago. At that time, I had a very secure job in the communications department of a government-run tourism office. It was actually kind of cool. It was stable, good pay, lots of vacation, and all the benefits you're supposed to want. But after more than 5 years working there and then the pandemic, losses in the family, something slowly broke. I fell into depression. I would wake up dizzy from stress and I cried almost every day. So I decided to go to therapy. And truly, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Little by little, I started to understand what was happening. I wasn't setting boundaries, not with my boss, not with my colleagues, and not with myself. I didn't know how to allow myself to take space. I lived to serve, to please, to adapt, and it was exhausting. After about a year of therapy, I finally felt brave enough to leave that safe job and take a part-time position at a non-profit working for a social cause. The change was terrifying, but it was also incredibly freeing. For the first time in almost a decade, I had time to look at myself, time to breathe. And I felt like the main character of my own life, instead of watching it pass by like a TV show. Around that time, I also realized that my 7-year relationship was built more on comfort than on love, and letting go of that was brutal. Ending something that has been part of your life for so long is one of the hardest things. But I had my family, my friends, and they helped me through it. Not long after, I joined crochet and sewing classes at the community center, and that was probably the second best decision of my life. I also started dating my current partner, Eneko, and I found the kind of happiness and passion I thought I'd lost forever. For about a year and a half, I spent my afternoons after work creating, trying things, learning, resting, and eventually I decided to share that process here on YouTube.
Hello, welcome. My name is Estelle. Some months ago I decided to do more creative things, so I started to learn crochet, patchwork, sewing and some other activities. Welcome to my second video. I hope you're feeling really well because today we are doing some easy sewing. To be honest, I don't have much experience in sewing, but this September I signed up in a sewing class, so I hope I'll get better.
For a long time I did both, my job at the non-profit organization and YouTube. But at some point my job hours felt endless, even though I was working only part-time. All I could think were my projects and video ideas. I couldn't decide on what to do, so I did neither. I asked for a leave of absence and traveled for a few months. I wanted distance from everything to see clearly. At that time, I had zero income from my channel and my salary was very low, but I had been saving for years and years to make that trip. And it turned out to be a great investment. I came back feeling braver, more secure in myself, and more grateful for the people in my life. I've had cool jobs, but I couldn't see myself coming back to one. I knew then that I wanted to work on creative projects full-time. but the income still wasn't there. So I took temporary jobs and I was unemployed for a while, focusing on my goal and showing consistency. Interview time. So where are we?
We are in Mardihimal viewpoint,
How many meters?
4,200 meters.
Wow.
And you can see the nice view of the Annapurna South, Himchili, Yadikang.
Slowly, future income started to feel real. That's when I started the scary process of becoming self-employed. And here we are, so let's take a look at what a regular week of my life looks like. Something that's become really important to me so I can focus on this new path is protecting my energy and trying to have some non-productive spaces through the week. On weekends, I sometimes go to my mom's house, and normally that also means helping with the garden or other chores they need help with, which is lovely, but some days I just want to relax and spend time together. This Christmas, Mamoshon kindly gifted me and my moms the Yuka mini robotic lawn mower, and it's been such a relief for everyone in the house. It uses UltraSense AI vision, so it maps the garden by itself, no perimeter wires, and it's super quiet. It was really fun to see it scanning the lawn, and there's no need to set it up again. Everything is managed through the app, where you can create different mowing zones and also set no-go areas for flower beds, the pool, or places you just want to avoid. I also love that it has a safety feature that detects and avoids obstacles in real time, so my mom's cats are always safe, and it works even with trees around. You can even control it with Alexa or Google, which is great when you want to manage it from the sofa. In spring and summer, we used to mow every weekend, and I'm actually allergic to pollen, so it wasn't nice at all. Now when I visit, at least the garden takes care of itself, and we can actually rest, spend time together, or work on other chores if they need help with. Now let's move on to show how my regular work days are. My days usually start early. I wake up at 7:20, just about the same as my partner Eneko. My partner always takes care of breakfast. I usually have some fruit and a sandwich for later, and he likes to have warm, healthy oats. Meanwhile, I have time to do a short mobility video to prepare for the sitting hours ahead. I am sitting at my desk at 8, just at the time he leaves for work. My face is puffy, my energy is low, and I'm not really in the mood to be on camera. So I start quietly. Emails first, about an hour, then around 3-4 hours writing scripts or editing videos. I'm usually working on 2 or more videos at the same time, otherwise I wouldn't be able to upload consistently. I currently edit my videos using CapCut Pro. It's intuitive, but exporting sometimes gives me trouble, so I might change programs in the future. Each video takes me around 14 to 20 hours to edit. For context, I've been making videos since I was 6 years old, I studied audiovisual communication and I have worked in media for over 10 years, so this part feels very natural to me. But at the same time, I avoid making the whole process feel too professional. I film everything with my phone, a Samsung Galaxy S23. And when I need to record my phone, I use my Fujifilm X30. It's 10 years old and it's not the best for videos, but it's so fun to use for taking pictures. This tripod cost 20 euros and my laptop is 5 years old. For the voiceovers, I use this microphone that my mom's gifted me for my birthday. And that's all the equipment I use. I don't use fancy lights or overly professional setups. I want the process to feel human and approachable, and also fun and relaxing for me to film. If you're watching this, you might be curious about how making a living as a full-time creative actually works. In my case, it's a mix. It's early for me to know how my income will be, but in these first months, I haven't made enough from YouTube views alone to make a living. When I started, I watched a lot of videos from people saying they made thousands of dollars a month in the first year, and I believed that was normal. Now I think those are highlighted channels with particular circumstances, and that more regular creators might not talk about their numbers because it doesn't sound impressive, or their videos don't get to us because the algorithm doesn't find them interesting enough. This is my reality. I get a good amount of views for my subscriber count, but ad revenue alone isn't enough. What makes this possible are sponsorships and a side job I have, which I will get into in a moment. I can't share exact numbers because of confidentiality contracts, and this might change each month, but my earnings as a small channel right now are 30% from views revenue, 20% from my side job, and 50% from sponsorships. With all three incomes together, I earn something similar to a regular job. Sometimes it's just gonna be minimum wage, and sometimes maybe it will be more. I'm very careful with the brands I work with. I only accept collaborations I genuinely think will be relevant for you. I don't hesitate to say no, especially to fast fashion or unethical brands. If ads ever bother you, I understand. But for now, they are what make this life possible, so I'm very grateful for these brands and for your understanding. Getting back to my day, after my morning managing emails, scripts and editing, I take an hour to eat and rest a little bit on the couch. Then I get on to filming my videos. Some days I sit down to sew, other days I reach for my crochet hook, and sometimes I let myself follow curiosity and do a bit of everything. I usually work on projects for a minimum of 3 to 4 hours. Making them plus recording the process takes a lot of time, and some days I'm working on them until dinner time. But lately I try to stop around 6 o'clock when Eneko comes home so we can spend some time together and I can rest until the next day. Otherwise, I get burned out really quick and my creativity freezes.
hard thing to know, that your soul will stay hollow. Even if I know that nothing lasts forever, it's not easy to let go. Can you love me again? Can things ever be the same? All I do is see things slipping through my fingers when he turns and walks away. Yes, there he goes. There he goes. All the things I wanna say.
Our evenings are very simple, especially in winter. Groceries, cleaning, watching a show, working on a puzzle, batch cooking for the week. Some days we have plans with friends or we just enjoy our hobbies together. Nothing super exciting, but still I wouldn't change it for anything else.
There he goes. There he goes.
I'm a very sensitive person. Crowds, offices, the metro, they overwhelm me easily. At my old jobs, I wore earbuds all the time to protect myself from noise, but even music can be too much for me. Now I work in silence. I love the calm of working at home. I'm creating a space where my brain feels safe, but I also know this can backfire. The more protected I am, the harder the outside world feels. So I committed to working outside at least once a week. Every Wednesday afternoon and every other day, I travel about 30 minutes within my city to teach crochet and sewing for beginners, which is the side job I talked about before. It forces me out of the house to socialize. I teach at my friend's Noor workshop, who's appeared in this channel before. You might remember her from last year when we organized a free crochet day outside, sharing yarn, stories and sunshine. It's a beautiful space with beautiful people. Being part of their learning process is incredibly inspiring, and watching their faces light up when they finish their first crochet piece is so rewarding. When I get home, it's already dark and I'm exhausted, but very happy. If you are introverted or easily overstimulated like me, I really recommend finding something that gently forces you to socialize, if possible through something you love. When I was 20, I was extremely shy, and working as a waitress in the summers helped me so much. My job was to smile and be nice to people, and eventually that impregnated my mood and my character, allowing me to get out of my shell a little bit more. So this is a regular week in my first year of being self-employed. I'm incredibly excited and very grateful, but I'm also scared. I still get anxiety attacks, just like I did in my regular jobs. I'm afraid of getting sick and not being able to work, I'm afraid of unstable income, and I know I can't take long paid holidays anymore. Still, this decision feels right. So thank you so much for being here, for watching and making this possible. If you'd like to support my work even more, you can become a channel member, and if you want more details about how I make my videos or anything else, let me know. I'm really happy to share. Adeu!